welcome back to Trailer Trash. Today we're covering a documentary, mayhaps, called The Luckiest Man in America. Let's check it out.
From Television City in Hollywood, it's time to press your luck.
I just came off a 3-day trek from my hometown in Ohio.
I like this guy's style. So I got a little bit of this before watching it. I'll just tell you now. So what I'm getting from this, though, from what I've saw, this is the most I've seen of it. It's about the guy who won. I mean, I look at the title and look at the context, right? But there was an actual story of a guy who figured out the pattern to the press your luck machine, and like, in a way, sort of rigged the game to his favor. I want to say lawsuits were involved too. So it's a movie about that, is what I'm getting at. Which is interesting. I mean, it's an interesting story, but I mean, just watch an actual documentary about the press your luck guy. It's interesting too how this seems to be portraying him as just, your average Joe who doesn't mean any harm. And, it was probably the case in real life, but being that it's a movie, documentary style based on a true story, you know where I'm going with this. Place your bets who the villain is going to be in this story that in real life was just, a very cut and dry, not everyday occurrence, but, nothing too insane happened here. But the studio, they're like, you cheated. See, I don't know the full story, but, again, I'm pretty sure lawsuits were involved. Like, did he cheat? Should he not have won the money because he figured out something that the studio themselves, didn't realize was a thing? Are they going to be the villains, though, being like, we want our money back, we're greedy, corporate, etc.? Because that's what happens in these things, is somebody has to be a villain, even though in the real life equivalents, it was just people living their lives and nothing too extreme. But no, somebody has to be evil. There has to be an antagonist.
Man, I drive an ice cream truck. I love the show. I've probably seen every episode.
I like the guy. Stories like those are why America loves game shows.
Let's meet our 3 contestants vying for the big bucks.
Big bucks.
Now, the big board is filled with money, but be careful of the whammies because they'll take you right back down to zero.
Let's see those big bucks. Stop!
4,000 and a spin.
See, what I like about this concept, just as a creation standpoint, is how accurate is this recreation of the old Press Your Luck set, because that's fun. I like that idea. I love movies that try to take you back to, as seen on TV, make it look like that, bring it back to that original state. It's kind of like in Saving Mr. Banks, how they kind of attempted to make Disneyland and the Disney studio look like it used to back in those days. Though they fucked up because the carousel wasn't dead center through the castle. There's a shot where you could see the carousel if you look through the castle drawbridge. No, they moved it since. Anyway.
Keep going.
16,000.
You also doing this? Pass, man.
Mathematicians are giving me 6 to 1 odds.
What's wrong with this guy?
Keep going.
He's gonna go. Stop! $24,000.
Again.
Yeah, at what point are they going to explain, again, like in the real story, the dude he watched the show. I mean, they mentioned how he loves the show. Yeah, he just knew, like, okay, this is the pattern of the lights. This is where the whammies show up. You just kept going and going. It's again, interesting story. Just, I'm sure there's documentaries. There's probably a YouTube video about it on there somewhere. Like, I don't know why you needed all that.
We have a problem. Somebody didn't vet this guy. He's not playing the game right. We gotta scare him.
It'd be a real pity if we got held up here in LA.
Fucking called it. Yeah, the studio was so evil and was like, we got to scare this guy. We got to strong arm him mafia style to freak him out and get him to lose money. Like, I mean, I don't put it past a big corporation or, major company to do something like that, but I don't know. Something tells me it was just them being like, we should probably talk to this guy. Again, lawsuits, lawfare, just be like, hey, how did you, that's not right. The odds don't make sense, so we're suing you. I don't know.
It's a lot of money. Do you want to spend and risk losing it all?
I said again.
I tried to warn him.
Just find out who this guy is.
Are you doing something wrong? I'm actually closing a big deal right now. That's gonna change everything.
I don't know what to tell you. Heads are gonna roll for this.
Do I know you from somewhere? Not America's Most Wanted, right?
Is that Johnny Knoxville? What?
You think that he's working alone? I have no idea.
All part of the game, right?
You just made more than anyone in the history of game shows.
Look.
I love this faux intensity of him running around the studio randomly and just like, you press your luck. Oh, it's so fucking intense. It's like, it's press your luck. I somehow highly doubt the actual, him doing this in real life was nearly as intense as it was. And again, they're not giving away the fact that the dude just was a fan of the show and put it together. Like, I don't even know. Again, I'm not 100% familiar with the story, but I don't even think he was like a savant or anything like that. He was just a big enough fan that he...
It's just a good excuse to do nothing and then hope that an opportunity comes a-knocking.
I mean, maybe they're betting on people not knowing the full story, and that's why they didn't give it away. So, spoilers. No one was working with him. There was no magic trick. There was no smoke and mirrors to this guy. The only smoke and mirrors, the only smoke at least, is the one Hollywood is blowing up your ass when they, have the studio threaten to rough him up and shit. Like, yeah. Top comment, Walton Goggins is everywhere right now, and I love it. I don't know who that is, but sure. Wait, I just realized the top comment doesn't have a name. What the fuck? Is my computer going to explode if I can't even click on their name. Oh, there it is. Ben Benjamindedo. Oh, what? Recent comments on this channel. You can look at recent comments for the fuck? Oh, maybe that's like a check you can mark. I didn't know you could do. Oh my God, you can see who they're following or they're subscribed to. And it's very wholesome. Sorry, I don't mean to call this person out because I feel kind of like a dick for pointing out their, I mean, I like attractive women too. I have an attractive woman fetish. I know it's very unhealthy. I watched a ton of Press Your Luck as a kid. Kudos to the producers for their recreation of the original set. Look at that. See, that's cool. I like the effort put into it at the very least. I just don't know if the effort was warranted. I've read about this. The guy, I think he was from Ohio, videotaped many episodes of the show, and fast forward. Wow. It's been so long since the era of VHS that I forgot. I didn't immediately connect what FF stood for. That's wild. And kudos to this person for using the term FF. Fast forwarding through them to see the pattern of how the money and pitfalls fell. The game show makers never altered the pattern. So all he had to do was memorize it, and therefore he knew where to buzz. I think he just lived off of winnings for 3 years without working. When the money ran out, he just went back to working. Are you fucking... There wasn't even like a lawsuit or anything. It was just... Yeah, they gave him the winnings. Well, gee golly gosh, it's almost like all this like hair pulling and threats made by the studio. Again, you have to have an antagonist in a movie, so make it the fucking studio. Why the hell not? No, they gave him the winnings. Like, fuck it. How long did Press Your Luck last? It's still going. At least the modern remake of it happened. maybe still. It's been a while since I watched Game Show Network. This is the perfect person to play this character. The story fascinates me on levels I can't even explain. The game, the scam, the way he figured it out, him getting robbed. Wait, he got robbed? Okay, that's interesting. Did he get robbed by the studio? Did it turn out like they were actual evil bastards and like staged a robbery or some shit? Oh my god, I bet you that's where they were going with it. It's just like some random schmo robbed him, you know, whatever, no tie to the studio, but this movie is gonna make it connect somehow. I watched this dude use their system against them in real time when I was 8 years old. He was an absolute assassin, and as an adult, I love it even more because of what it represents in dealing with corporate arrogance and laziness. Somebody didn't vet this guy. Sly face. Oh yeah, fight the system, man. You rig those game shows. They make it sound like he cheated. He learned that they have randomly consistent boards. Randomly consistent. I mean, sure. He just memorized the patterns and reacted. Somebody didn't vet the programmer and showrunner. He didn't cheat. He was a genius. Let's go, baby. Well, no one, only the producers called him a cheater. I mean, that's the interesting thing about this story is that it's them losing out on money because they didn't take enough care to foolproof. That's not the term. Make impossible to rig their show. Yeah, that's perfect. Mwah. Perfect English. Back in the 2010s, the Game Show Network had a 30-minute mini documentary about this guy and the controversy that ensued. Great to see his story expanded upon. Yes, expanded upon with facts and realism. Ow. Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne. That's great. I love that. Again, yeah, it's kind of playing it out like, you know, there's, you know, gunmen after him and assassins and explosions and shit, like all this running around they're having him do. It's just the fucking guy playing a game show. Like, yeah, calm down. It's not that intense. I wrote a musical about this years ago. We had a public presentation of it in New York City, but that's about as far as I was able to take it. Glad to see a movie is finally being made about it. I know there was talk of Bill Murray doing one years ago. Can't wait to see it. You made a musical about I mean, I can't be surprised. They made a fucking musical based on SpongeBob. Like, fuck me, man. You know, I was just having this conversation with people the other day. You know what movie hasn't been adapted to a theater, like a staged musical, and makes no sense, like, whatsoever? Fucking Blues Brothers. At least as far as we were able to figure out, no such thing as a Blues Brothers musical. Which is wild, right? Like, I guess it's probably a licensing thing, and also considering the original work has, you know, music by Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles, etc., etc. So it's like, well, maybe you can't use those songs, but it's the Blues Brothers. Like, it makes sense, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Cab Calloway, even. Anyway, I mean, even better if you could use those songs in a musical adaptation of it. But yeah, it just blew my mind. We're talking about at our local theater, they're going to do more musicals, and, you know, kind of half joking was like, oh man, Blues Brothers the musical. Looked it up. Doesn't exist. Again, as far as we determined, drinking might have been involved too. So yeah, it's weird. It's especially weird when it's like, oh, they don't have a musical, but Press Your Luck guy, oh yeah, I wrote a musical about that. Like, the music just came easy. You know, the lyrics, it wrote itself, honestly. A musical about this. Yeah, right. The documentary about this is one of the few documentaries I've watched twice. Looking forward to a biopic. Again, this is like the Lilo and Stitch thing. If the documentary exists, what's the biopic going to do for you? What are you going to get out of it? You know, you think you understand the human mind and what it finds entertaining, then you just get curveballs just left and right from people. Oh, here we go. Spoilers. And then big fucking guy. I don't know why people... Well, I guess for spoilers, it makes sense. The guy wasn't lucky. He just knew how the grid worked. He watched the show so much that he started to notice a pattern. He set up multiple TVs in his house to watch different episodes at the same time and noticed that certain spots never had a whammy on it. But only stopping on these spots, he was basically guaranteed not to lose. The problem is he kept going and was winning more money than he couldn't give, so they investigated him, and his little trick was found out. He was kicked from the show, but was able to keep the money he won because he technically didn't break any rules. They had to change how the grid worked after that. Yeah, compelling. So much drama. So much conflict. I don't know. I'm just taking the piss out of every movie trailer I'm watching right now, apparently. Also, I like saying taking the piss. It's my favorite term ever. I'm not even British. I've been drinking a lot of tea, though. Maybe that has something to do with it. Anyway, thanks for watching.